Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here. We are excited, and Drew has already gone over some of the logistics, and we are kind of used to some of it, where you are muting your microphone, and we have always get some kind of interesting feedback. Sometimes we forget our microphones are on. So mute your microphone during the institute. That will be great. And if you have any connection problems, the link should be here down in the chat box if you need to connect with, if you have trouble with the actual audio. Also, you can stop the video if you have any connection problems. That might be another way to help many of you keep that connection. But on the behalf of the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities, we are super excited, as I say, to be here. We welcome you and thank you for your commitment and continuous work that you do in increasing independent living, providing experiential opportunities for individuals who have intellectual disabilities that will lead to really awesome employment opportunities. Your vision and your dedication has broadened pathways for many individuals, and we'll get to celebrate some of that as we look at how what happens during this institute and some of the work that you've done as we reflect over what has gone over for the year. For many of you, as Drew said, as you were coming in, that this is an exciting time because we are now in a place where we're slowly transitioning back to opportunities to be able to embrace each other and welcome each other and be physically together. And literally, we are hoping this is our last virtual institute. And we never know if we continue to keep safe and do what we need to do related to the pandemic. I think we'll all be seeing each other in November. So we're excited to be here with you in this virtual space, no matter what. If we have to do it again, we're excited about that as well. So we'll go on and make sure that we say to you, if we don't say it any other time, keep yourself safe and preserve your good health during this institute, and keep us posted on how things are going with you. We are celebrating 5 years, if you hadn't heard. And in January, the Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program Act was actually signed into law. And actually, it became effective in July. So in just around the corner, we really will have an official 5-year celebration of the act, and we are ecstatic about it. And we want to celebrate those opportunities. We'll talk a lot about that during this institute. As a reminder, the Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program Act has some components in it that we want to always keep in front of you. That the act established the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities at the University of Central Florida. It also established funds for scholarships for students attending the approved post-secondary programs, Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Programs. And so we're excited about those funds. You know that each student, it can be awarded up to $7,000 each year. Additionally, the act established what a Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program would actually be and the components of that. And all of our approved programs are adhering to that. And then it also funds grants, startup and enhancement grants in our original language for institutions of higher ed to actually implement those approved programs. So keep those in mind I know there just maybe a few newcomers, but keep in mind, this is some of the components that the act really focuses on. We have 19 programs, and so we want to just highlight some of the numbers that have happened over the 5 years. That we have 19 programs on 24 campuses. And over the 5 years, we've actually served 413 students. I think that's a lot to celebrate. And look at the numbers with those students. We've had 413 students, And of those 413 over the 5 years, there have been 140 of them who've actually been new enrolled. So that tells us that we've had students in our programs who've continued, and our programs range from 1 to 4 years. Some are just getting an opportunity to exit. COVID-19 kind of did a hiccup for some of the students completing on time. And so we'll have some more students, new students coming in, but some of the students are continuing or just finishing up this year. We also have had over the 5 years, 107 completers. And again, those numbers will change. 2020 was an interesting year. However, you, power team of FPCTPs, have found a way to make sure those students exit, and they are exiting this year. We have some improved numbers, and we're excited about that. During the 5 years with our students participating in our approved programs, the satisfactory academic progress has remained 88% and or above. So you have kept students in the program through completion, and we've had a pretty good track record as we've moved forward. With those 413 students that we've served, you have actually issued 477 scholarships. So you might think, hey, that's some funky language. Well, that's because students continue a year after year, and so some students may be counted more than one time, but look at the figure. That's been over $3 million that we've helped students move through inclusive post-secondary education and exit with credentials that indicate that they are ready for employment and have independent opportunities. Also, we have looked at the total amount of grant funds that have actually been awarded over the 5 years. $13 million, over $13 million. I know that our legislators will be happy to see that, and they'll be even more ecstatic as that scholarship number increases and our students increase. So let's just look at, along with our celebration of the 5 years, let's just look at the purpose of the mid-year. So one of the things we want to do and keep in mind is that, and you may, some of you who've been with us may have noticed, we've really tried to emphasize that the mid-year is a progress update. And so we really think about the mid-year. We don't spend as much time planning. We think about the mid-year as a time to review and celebrate our progress. We are moving forward. We've had a year of planning because you did that in November. Now we're doing an update. And so this is an update from the institute that we had in November, the Florida Education Program Planning Institute. And now we're looking at how well have you done with your planning. And granted, some of you probably started your planning far before November, but that's where as you know, we're changing our calendar. And so we also look at the purpose of the mid-year is that we update those plans, follow up, and then look at for new programs that might be joining us. If you look at some of your planning as well as some of our established ones, you may want to change some things in your planning. So we consider that updating, but it also may be replanning because you may have new team members with you that you're trying to take them over some of your goals and remind them of where you are, and then help you with that implementation. Consider that with your update. We're always here to provide professional development and technical assistance as we think about our mid-year and our annual institute, our planning institute, as we say. We always want to emphasize some opportunity for growth, and always keep in your face the available resources that we have for you in order for you to implement your program. And a big part of what we do is to help foster collaboration across the state. There's never a time that we don't reach out to one of you and you say no, that you can't help someone get on board or share resources. And we've certainly seen that in Hoover. You have been sharing like crazy, and we're just super charged up about the interactions that are currently going on. As we celebrate our growth and progress, we want to focus on continuous growth and progress, or continual growth and progress, because success Without continuous growth, without continuous growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. Quote from Benjamin Franklin. So when we talk about success, success for us is students completing our programs who exit with credentials that allow them to remain employed in their desired careers and live independently in inclusive environments. That's what we call success. In helping institutions to implement programs that deliver research and evidence-based and promising practices, transition practices, our legislators have revisited language in the Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program Act to hopefully assist with the continuous growth and development changes that we want to focus on. And so thanks to your feedback, we've talked to several people over the last couple of years, and thanks to your feedback, we shared your concerns with the staff director of the Senate Education Appropriations Committee about the language related to startup and enhancement grants. Some of you shared that you felt it was somewhat restrictive because it said startup and enhancement, and it gave a sense of uncertainty about the duration of receiving continuous funding. Well, as you see here, our discussions led to legislative changes that have been noted, and they have actually removed the language of startup and enhancement grants. And they've done that in a way to convey that the intention is that we want the 120 eligible institutes to know that the commitment of the legislators' investment is here to support the continuous sustainability of approved programs. We will publish the actual changes in our RFP a little later in July, but the legislators, if you particularly look at this last bullet, it removes the maximum value of what the grants could be, and then we make the decision on that. So in that decision, we are currently working through the language, like I said, that will be published with our new RFP. And those changes will include language related to the maximum amount and priorities related to that amount. As you see, we are looking at a maximum award of up to $500,000 for 1 to 3 years. So $500,000 per year, like we have our current grants, for 1 to 3 years as grants, as institutions see the need. We will prioritize identifying institutions or programs that will receive that amount per year by 1, the number of students in your program. 2, those programs, you guys are expanding all over the place, and you are looking at multiple campuses, and we thank you for that, and I know the legislators do too. So we'll also look at those programs that have spread across multiple campuses and residential components that are added to programs. Those programs we've seen over the last few years require additional funding for implementation. And so similar to as we recently, a little over a year ago, year and a half ago, where we reinterpreted the language in the grants, and you were able to actually request funding for $300,000 per year instead of $300,000 1 to 3 years. It's the same with this, where we will look at supporting and making those changes actually immediately. So along with our state changes to support vigorous and effective programs, the foci of MidYear aligns with national and continuous changes. And so at our institute, we have, and you'll notice, because I know that everyone has read our act and know it backwards and forward. I know this, so I won't even ask you. And so you know in the act that it certainly requires us, as part of our responsibility, requires the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities to align our indicators with the National Coordinating Center. And so we're excited and have a focus on what the national status of inclusive higher education is, as well as national accreditation. If you're watching what is happening with our national coordinating centers within college, we are responsible to align our work with that. And so I want you to pay particularly good attention to Deb as she presents today, and we'll have more of it, we hope, during our annual meeting in the fall. But so we have that national focus to make sure we're not missing that alignment of how we're working with our Florida programs. And we also focus on the sustainability, as I said, talking about one, sharing with you the changes with the grant funding, but also our focus when we work together will be focused on the faculty and staff domain within the strategic planning. That doesn't mean when you're doing your progress update or anything that you have to change that. We're asking, and we've already sent out actually information asking you to look at that domain, but we are focused on that this year, and that's strictly from your feedback. We also, as I said earlier, focus on collaboration and network and how we can support existing. And we have a couple of new programs. So a couple of programs who've been hanging out with us and they are almost there. We want you guys to help push them there. So provide the feedback that they need to help them get those approved applications. And again, the focus is on a progress report. So you'll be completing a progress report and sharing and learning from each other as we move through the mid-year. Well, with you being here today, I know that you've already accessed Hoover successfully, so I'm thankful for that. Right now we got 82 folks in, so we're doing pretty good. A little more than half of our registration. So if you haven't done so already though, please explore the community and interactive components of Hoover, because I'm telling you, our participants are hot and sharing. They have a lot of great resources in there that'll really help you as you think about looking at your progress and changes throughout the continuing years. So here's a glance at the mid-year, and I'll just talk through kind of where we are. And we're here with our overview. And as I said, we have a dynamic speaker who I introduced in a little bit, who will be sharing on the national standards. She'll actually be here for the general sessions, who will be our main presenter during the mid-year, keeping up with the national update. We'll take a break after Deb presents on the update on inclusive higher ed. We'll take a little break, and then we'll move into looking at those accreditation standards, which are going to be critically important. And you're getting a glimpse of what that is, and you'll hear so much more about it. You may have already worked with your facilitator to actually schedule facilitated planning time, where you are scheduling either 1 or 2 hours. And today, some of you may have decided that you wanted to meet. Tomorrow, we'll work on a general session by type alike, by institution type alike. And we sent out an email actually yesterday to help you to prepare for the type alike sessions. And so team leaders and some others, actually, so it wasn't every single person, but we tried to make sure we sent it to the team leaders and other key members, explaining how we'll conduct that session. And that again is from your feedback of, hey, if we're gonna have questions in our type alikes, give us some warning about what it is. So we shared that with you. And you can also find the type alike PowerPoint in the document section in Hoover. So we'll do that, and then after we finish with our type alikes, and some individuals will actually have planning time tomorrow, have it already set, then we'll do our team report out. And so most of you are familiar with that, where each team will have an opportunity to kind of share the work that you've done during the last day and a half, and you'll have no more than 2 minutes. You have no more than 2 minutes to share, either in a poem, choose a PowerPoint, Prezi, whatever creative expression or creative way that you would like to share with us an update about what you all focused on for doing your progress update. And so we'll keep it that. Later today, we will post up the order in which each team will go, so you know who's up next, and we'll keep that running. at the end of tomorrow. And then although many of you have joined us with our workshop, the webinars that Claudia and I have done, excuse me, on the annual reports, you all know that that's a new feature in Salesforce. The workshop is actually for our approved programs, where we will actually take a little more time. Claudia has been working hard to make sure that we can provide you a little more individual one-on-one if we haven't worked with you already, to understand the platform in Salesforce. Several of you have completed your program information already, and a few of you have started on your student information. And I don't think any of you have started on your follow-up, your student follow-up. So that'll be a piece that she actually shares and beyond what we've done in the webinars, so that everybody can be on the same page as you're preparing your annual reports for August. Sorry, probably muted. Okay. As I mentioned, you have 2 hours of planning time. And this is going to be with our amazing, exceptional cadre of facilitators. You all have said it, and we know it. They are experienced, they're experts, they're great resources. They have facilitated not only state teams, but we have many of our facilitators who've also facilitated at the national level. Drew has worked with the facilitators and got them prepared to do everything they can to help you with your progress update. And you'll probably see them again in the fall, many of them who will be ready, hopefully, in many cases with the same team for your new year planning, for you revisiting your plan and moving forward for the next year. So our experts make it happen for us, and you've told us that, and we know that. And so we thank the facilitators for doing such an awesome job, and they're ready to prepare. They're ready to help you move through your planning and progress update time and identify resources that could help for those who are looking at implementation, new implementation. You'll be using, and with that facilitated time, you should already have your Zoom link. Everyone should have had an opportunity to log in. And we'll look at that in the next slide. Excuse me. But you really will be using the strategic planning tool, this post-secondary education version. And I apologize for my voice, but you'll work through that. And during that time, you'll take information back from the general sessions that might help with the update and get you prepared to actually report out and share where you're moving. Sorry. This is a familiar tool to many of you. You will log in to the post-secondary education component of the strategic planning tool, and hopefully everyone has access. Your team lead and the facilitator probably have worked to make sure you are logged in and you can actually see the tool as you work through as a team. And so in that tool, we have 4 domains that we focus on. Excuse me. And I'm going to have to take a drink of water, so I apologize. 4 domains: evidence-based and promising practices in transition that we focus on. The student focus domain, excuse me, faculty and staff, which is our focus of our institute, program and institution domain, concepts and systems development. Outside of us, we're looking at the university across, or the institution across the board, and outside of it, and sorry, key benchmarks within each domain. Again, the focus is the mid-year. And the focus of the mid-year is the progress report. So this is the area that we hope you'll spend most of your time working on your progress update. When you go into your plan, you'll look at your plan and see where you were in November, or if you went in after that time, and then you'll actually work on updating the progress. So you'll be in the step 4 of our planning process progress report. So we say during the Institute, ask questions, keep an open mind about suggestions others make, and be able to offer opportunities for growth. We want to make sure everybody's engaged. So find ways to include everybody in the conversation. Use the networking opportunities again to make sure that each person is getting what they need. Reach out to colleagues across other institutions, ask for their help, respond in the communities, and have fun while you're doing it. And all of the work that we do together will help all of us be better. And so we want to help everybody get better. It's hard work, it's rewarding work, and we enjoy having you here. So we're going to have fun, if you don't, in this virtual space, and know that the next time we're together, we'll be laughing and physically hugging each other together. Again, the FCSUA team welcomes you and invites you to reach out to us at any time during the Institute. You know, we have a dynamite team of professionals who are monitoring all the communication mediums. Their eyes are on you right now, and they are doing everything they can to make sure that you are supported as you move through the Institute. So you have who we are. Again, you have Drew and my cell phone number. Feel free to text us, call us if you can't get to us in any other way, or if our team members aren't able to see, or you don't know where the numbers are to reach out to us. Here it is, call us, reach out to us, and let us know what kind of help you need, and we will be there for you. You know, Claudia is our wizard, waiting and lurking behind all of our virtual spaces, and there to help, and she's there for our planning tool and any Hoover questions that you have. And when we get into the workshop later in the week, she'll be there to help you with that as well. Iris is hanging around and waiting as well to kind of talk with you about Hoover if you need it, if you got any general questions. Ashley and Melanie are monitoring the emails. If you so happen to call in, they're waiting. And Philip is also waiting on standby for anything that you need. So this is our team, a powerful group of professionals who are waiting to assist you as needed. And so one of the things we want you to do is to enjoy the Institute. We are hopeful that this again is our last time in the virtual space. However, in place of our warm greetings that we have and hugs that we have early in the morning and around really good food, that all of the kind of engaging interactive activities we have in Hoover will kind of take the place of that. And we are just really thankful and delighted to be here with you now. And so we're fortunate for our Hoover platform to provide us another way to kind of supplement that. And so we ask you to participate in our friendly competition as you watch the amazing and informative leaderboard interactions. I know some of you have been on it since early this morning, kind of joining and going around in the community space and posting things and responding, and that leaderboard is changing. And so we actually have surprises for our leading winners. So keep an eye on that leaderboard and engage in the friendly competition. So enjoy the Institute. Let's make it magical.